Hey and welcome back to my channel. I'm just about to go and have a filling, boo, and then I'm going to do some cardio and posing, so I'll catch up with you then. I got a new lipstick and I quite like it. It's autumnal, and I got this Babyliss hairdryer which is normally like £40 to £60 for £15 in Superdrug. Woo! So this morning I am going to my bestie's new aesthetics clinic. It's called Riru in Kidderminster, and she's going to give me a Korean facial. So I'm now at Riru Salon, the clinic. Look how nice it is. I'm so proud of my bestie. She's so good at interior. It's very nice and gold. This is the comfy bed that I'm going to be lying on. All her certificates. If you want glowy skin, then you really need to book in at Riru Clinic. I have just been to see little Kiki do a singing performance at school, and it was so cute, bless him. Hello. I just thought I would come on and finish off the vlog. So my vlogs haven't been that organized, really, have they? It's just showing you bits and bobs of what I get up to in a week. I'm sure like more interesting things will happen next year when I'm like officially on prep. I guess this is like the pre-prep at the moment where we try and decide where I fit in terms of fit model and bikini, etc. So certainly I can show you more of like what I eat in a day, like what my training split's like, etc. So this week was another good drop. I think I lost just over a pound again. We're aiming for a pound. And it doesn't feel like hard or anything yet. But mentally it's been a hard week. Hang on, I need to try and rest my arm on something because I'm going to chat for a little bit. So if you know me or follow me, you'll know that I am like the queen of positivity. Like I am very lucky to nearly always be in a good mood. And when I'm not in a good mood, I will voice note my best friend and I can snap out of it pretty quick. But this week, I feel like PMS has literally been raging in me. I have been so irritable and it's not like me. And like really in my head and comparing. So the things I think what set me off was training and everything. Like I've been feeling so positive and training's been going so well. And then I've spoken about it on some of my other vlogs that and definitely loads on Instagram, that I'm having this issue that every time it comes to ovulation, which is like obviously halfway through your cycle, I just get the worst pain ever. I mean, like 10 out of 10 pain, need to take painkillers. They don't touch the sides, can barely walk. Like the pain is just excruciating and like proper bad bloating. And this can last anywhere between 2 days to a week. And this time it lasted like a week. So obviously it does affect my mood because who wants to be in pain all the time? And it does affect my training because you can't be your best in the gym when you're in pain, if that makes sense. So that gets me down a little bit, but I come to expect it every month. Like I'm obviously seeing the GP, still waiting an ultrasound scan, waiting for some more private bloods to be done. I've tried like every supplement that you can think of, and just nothing makes any difference. It's just a bit of a pain, a lot of a pain. And also on top of that, my back injury seems to be flaring a little bit this week. So I had a sports massage today and it's instantly feels a million times better. Like chronic back pain is something that I'm going to have to live with forever. But it was like doing so much better, that training was going well. Like I wasn't in agony every single day. It was like going so much better. So I feel like to go back like 10 steps is a bit like disappointing, and obviously gets in my head and then makes me think like, oh, how am I going to do the posing on stage? Like, I really need to be making the most of my training now while I've still got like okay calories. Like, I need to build my glutes up, and it like spirals then in my head like, oh, like, why do I have to have this back pain? And then another thing that has been in my head this week. So, yeah, where I was going with this at the start was, if you know me, I'm like very positive. But one of the things, I had therapy, was it this year or last year? This year, I think, I had therapy, and she said that I don't always feel my emotions because I'm always just like brushing them aside and trying to be positive, trying to look on the bright side of life, which I don't think is a negative thing to do, because everybody wants to feel positive and look on the bright side of life. But she said it's like if you've got a garden full of weeds and you just like ignore them, it doesn't mean that they're going anywhere. You need to like feel the feelings, you need to pick the weeds. Like, for instance, with limiting beliefs, they're still going to be there even if you choose to ignore them. Whereas when you do the work and feel the emotions, it's not a case of being negative, it's a case of working through the issues or the limiting beliefs to then get rid of the weeds forever, rather than if you're ignoring it, it's still there. I don't know if that makes any sense. So I thought, like, rather than always keeping the vlog super duper positive, to tell you how I have been feeling. And this is wild because I'm not even in prep or anything yet. So to have these feelings like now, it's like, ugh. But one of the things I've been feeling is, so I don't know how to get it out. Like I've said before, I am not against steroids or assistance in bodybuilding. I 100% think it goes hand in hand with bodybuilding. It's an extreme sport. Like, the physiques that people bring to the stage are an extreme look, and naturally it goes hand in hand with steroids. And I've got no I think nothing bad of anybody that takes them whatsoever. But I do think some people jump on them too quickly. And I think as long as people know the risks behind them and they're comfortable taking them and they're doing it in the healthiest way possible, like, I've got no opinion on that really. But for me, I've said that I want to stay natural, mostly because like the risk is too much for me at this stage because I value my health. I'm not saying that you can't do it healthily. Like, I know somebody that she's run her bloods straight after doing her last comp and her bloods are better than before, but she is guided by somebody who knows his stuff. So I'm not being like, oh, then people are like throwing it to the wind with their health, they don't care. I'm not saying that at all. But for me, with all my health problems, I don't want to add fuel to the fire, if that makes sense. Also, obviously, my main priority is to be a mum and the best mum that I can be. And for me, stepping back on stage, it's because I enjoy the process. I go to the gym anyway. I eat like a bodybuilder anyway. Like, I train like a bodybuilder anyway. Like, I might as well do a show because I enjoy the stage and I really, really enjoy the process. So for me, it's like, I know that I will definitely look different now compared to my last show because it's been so long, if that makes sense. And I'm interested to see like the progress I've made, and it's always going to be me versus me. But again, in a sport like bodybuilding, you cannot help but compare yourself to other people. It's a competition at the end of the day. Like, if you were signing up to the 100 meters gold race in the Olympics, you're going to want to know who you're competing against and be like, oh, Usain Bolt can run that fast. Like, it's human nature to be curious about like the kind of people that you will be competing against. So I'm very grateful that now Two Bros have a natural show. I'm looking at doing the UKUP. They have a natural show. And I'm grateful that I could compete against other natural athletes, because obviously the people that do take assistance do have a slight advantage. I'm not saying things come easy when you're assisted. You still need to do the do. You still need to train hard. You still need to eat well. But obviously you do have an advantage because you're taking the assistance, if that makes sense. So to do a natural show, obviously then everybody is going to be natural. It's the same playing field, isn't it? But I've been like looking at, so it's just been the Olympia. So for instance, there is a competition this weekend that is for, it's a pro show and it's for natural pros. So in the bikini category, there is 3 competitors. There was a natural show in Korea probably about 3 weeks ago. Again, in the bikini category, 3 competitors. So what does this tell you? It tells you that there's very, very, very few bikini girls that are pro, that are, not that I'm looking to go pro or anything like that, but where I'm coming from here is it shows you there's very few girls that have made it to IFBB Pro naturally. And it was the Olympia last weekend or the weekend before, and without a shadow of a doubt, there was no natural girls on the stage. Maybe one, but they're all assisted. And the reason why I've got in my head about this is I can see, like, I am grateful that there are natural shows, but why I'm in my head is because I look up to these girls and I'm like, obviously the Olympians and the pros, they're like the best of the best ever. And even if I took assistance, I probably wouldn't look the same as them anyway. They are like the best of the best ever. But the reason I get in my head is because it's like, that's the look that I like. That's what I would like to look like. And then I look at the people that are doing natural shows and I still fully think, oh my God, wow, you're amazing. But they don't look the same as obviously the girls that are taking the assistance. So it's a bit like, obviously, I'm just going to look like, I'm in my head thinking, oh, I'm just going to look like skinny and not how I actually want to look. But again, I'm doing it for the process and not for the final look, because I don't actually even like my stage looks in the past. I like being a bit bigger and a bit curvier, but I enjoy the process. But that's why I've been in my head this week, because it's a bit like, oh, like literally everyone and their dog is taking assistance, and what's the point if I'm not, kind of thing. But I've talked myself out of it, and it's like, not that I would not talk to myself out of doing assistance. Like, I'm very adamant at the moment that I'm definitely staying natural, because obviously being a mum. But and I know that there is very few risks with things like Anavar, but I just don't want to take any risks at the moment. Like, that's just where I stand on that. But so I've come out of my head of it, and I'm like, okay, so that means really I need to be inspired by these people that are taking assistance, but just realize that I'm not going to look the same as them, obviously, and to follow more of the like natural bikini girls, and because that's more realistic of like what I can achieve. And instead of like throwing the towel in and being like, well, what's the point, because like everybody's taking it, what's the point? I need to focus on, well, I need to train as physically as hard as I can, because even the people that are taking assistance are training as hard as they can, and I need to just focus on my journey and not compare myself. Like, you don't compare apples and pears, do you? And to more focus on people that are natural, because that's more of how I'm going to end up looking, if that makes any sense. But I think it is just a massive, I do get PMS and I get in my head just before my period anyway, but it seems to be getting worse and worse, which I know is like a perimenopausal symptom, isn't it? But yeah, honestly, after my ovulation, my mood just dips a bit, and this month a lot, like probably the worst it has for ages. And I have just got in my head, but I've managed to like talk myself out of it and focus on the positives. But I just thought I would share, like, that's the reasons I've been feeling like negative this week. But we'll flip it, and a positive is I can definitely see that my posing is coming on better, and I've been practicing, so that is good. And I just always think of the analogy about like driving a car. I couldn't ever do that before, and now I can. So posing will come, and I've still got plenty of time. I've booked myself another posing session with a girl local to me. I don't know how often I will see her because she focuses mainly on PCA, and PCA isn't a federation that I'm going to do. But her tips were super helpful last time. I did sign up to a different posing thing online, but the app just doesn't work for me and it doesn't look like it's going to be sorted out. So I'll need to cancel that, I think. And I'll be able to do online posing with my coach soon. So that's exciting. I ordered loads of skincare after my facial. So that's exciting. But I think I'm just going to have to give in and have Botox again because that's one thing that's getting me down as well. And hopefully, well, next week is half term, so I might just do a little teeny vlog of what I get up to with my son for half term, and then we'll be back on it until Christmas. And then 2026 when I compete again. Woohoo! At the moment, it is definitely looking probably more likely fit model. That's why I've been looking at the UKUP shows, so I could do bikini there as well. So I could do bikini and fit model. And I don't know if people call it UKUP or UCUP, but all the people I know that have competed with UCUP all say that it is like, I've never heard a bad thing about it. Everybody raves about it. Like, it's a really fun show. So I am excited for that. So Bestie, if you're watching, you're gonna have to come to that one as well. But hopefully you can understand where I was coming from, and I better go and do the school run. And I'll see you in a few weeks after half term.